PWCC is a great way to sell your sports cards. If you're looking for a way to support the Cajun Cardboard YouTube channel, consider using the promo code Cajun, all caps, CAJUN, when you're selling your cards on the PWCC marketplace. Hey guys, Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana, and today's video is off the beaten path. It's not going to be the cross-country collection. It's not a PWCC weekly or premier auction recap. It's actually, I went to a card show, so this never happens. I went to a card show in New Orleans, Louisiana, and it's one of the biggest Louisiana card shows ever, I'm pretty sure. If I had to guess how many tables, I'm not really sure. Again, this was on February 24th, so 2 days ago. I'm filming this or recording this on a Monday. I went on a Saturday. I only had an hour and a half because my son Jordan had soccer games in Hammond, Louisiana, so I brought a friend of mine down there. He's a big vintage baseball collector, so shout out to Mike for coming down there with me. We had great conversation on the way down there, and he got to see some fun stuff. My goal with this card show, I had a 90, maybe let's say 100-minute window, right? I got there a little bit early, and one of my good friends, Nola Collects, Brad, got me a dealer pass, so he got Mike and I in there on the floor early. Not surprisingly, in New Orleans, Louisiana, a lot of the out-of-town dealers had not set up by 8:45 or 9 o'clock. My guess is they were still vomiting or still on Bourbon Street or figuring out where they were from going out the night before. So this was the first time this show, let me just guess, 80 tables. I'm guessing. I'm totally guessing. Let's say there's 80 tables, right? It's about 5 times the size of the Baton Rouge show. A lot of the out-of-town dealers decided to come in for this. When I say out-of-town, I mean mostly regional, came in to check this one out because it's now a 2-day show. So they're thinking, oh, we can come in, we can party Friday night, do the show Saturday, party Saturday night, do the show Sunday, get in our cars, and still get back to wherever we came from. So it was nice. I mean, I had very, very low expectations. You guys have watched my channel long enough. You know the kind of stuff I collect. The odds of me finding anything relevant to purchase at the New Orleans show was very, very low, but I like to go down there, see my friends, talk to people, and I was on a mission on this one. Let me just show you let me do some screen sharing real quick and make sure I got this right. No, because I've got some pictures. You guys know how I like to do this. I use pictures to kind of remember what the hell I was doing there. And by the way, in this video, we're also going to rip 2 1992 Upper Deck All-Star Weekend complete sealed sets that I bought down there. We'll talk about those, and I'll show you pictures of those in just a second. And then we'll watch the video. Then you guys can come back. But let me show you this. Let me get screen share up. Okay, so I put these together. I brought a 3-row Zion case of a bunch of the Michael Jordan PSA 9, PSA 8, and PSA 10. So I had a row of 8, a row of 9, and a row of PSA 10s. I brought them down there. I had a deal in principle set up to sell all of it in bulk at 80% of full comps. So if a card was $1,000, I was selling it for $800. And I know people are thinking, why are you selling Jordans at a discount? Well, here's the deal. It's a lot of cards. And so what you've got on your screen is just the PSA 10s. And we're not talking about huge cards, but a Sticky Fingers PSA 10, that's a $660 card. So I'm moving it at 80%. That's great. The guy who was buying it is a repacker, believe it or not. So apparently that's a really big deal right now. And Jordan repacks have got to be pretty productive, I would think. So he bought all of my 10s except for one. And the one he didn't buy is right here. I don't know if you can see my cursor. It was the 1998 Topps Chrome Preview PSA 10, which I valued. I couldn't figure it out because the comps were like 1880, 1800, 1800, 1650 or something like that, and then they dropped down to like 1170 the last sale. So I had a weird deal where it was like clearly an $1,800 card, but then the last sale was like 1150 or something weird like that, 1157. So I wasn't sure, so I just put 1650 on the thing. He didn't want to buy that one. He said it was too big for the repack, and so he was looking for stuff in the 40 to 500 kind of range, and so he bought everything on this sheet except for the Topps Chrome Previews, which was I had valued at $1,650. He bought every single one of these PSA 9s at 80%, which is, as you can see, $2,800. He bought every single one of these PSA 8s at 80%, which, as you can see, is $1,932. So I won't dig into the minutia of what cards are what, but if y'all want to pause the video and see, you can see. It's a bunch of basically swing and miss. The standout hobby, Beam Team members only for, that I got an 8 on. Dynamic dunks, I got an 8. An electric cord, I got an 8. 92 foil in Fuego, sticky fingers, scoring kings, 95 scoring kings, 8, stuff like that. So all the 8s, all the 9s, all the 10s, he bought all of them except for one. So I netted $9,700 on the cards that you see on this loose leaf sheet of paper, and I went ahead and did the work for him. I said, look, I'm going to do all this work, but you got to tell me we're going to get a deal done. So I sort of knew we were going to get a deal done when I went down there. I didn't know he was going to exclude the Chrome Preview, but you know what? I'm not going to have any problem moving that Chrome Preview. That's what I'm thinking. So the first thing I did when I arrived at the show, I hand off my Zion case, and the dude PayPal's me, friends and family, $9,700. So I get my Zion case back, right, because it's like a $50 case. So now I'm walking around with a Zion case in my backpack with one card in it, okay, and a bunch of bubble wrap, right, to keep the card secure. So that's what I've got. I got that deal done right away. So I'm flush with $9,700. So I'm looking, man. I'm looking for Jordan stuff. I walk around. It takes me 30 minutes max to get through the entire show. Keep in mind, this was right around 9:15, 9:30 on the first day of the show, Saturday morning. And I'm not kidding. I would say 15% of the tables were empty, not because they didn't sell, but because the dealers hadn't set up yet, because they were probably recovering from a rough night of partying the night before. So I made my way around, and concluded real quickly. The one thing I did see is I saw a BGS 9.5 high voltage, but I own, I got the high voltage in Gem Mint already, so it wasn't really a card that was kind of on my radar, but it was very odd that I saw that card at the show. But anyway, so let me keep going here. Let me share some more pictures. Here we go. Let me get you back over here. Let me share some more pictures. So here's a picture of the two little sets I picked up. The only thing I bought in this one, whirlwind, 20-minute sweep through the entire show. If I can get through the entire show in 25 minutes, that gives you an idea of how much Jordan stuff they had. And I stopped to look at soccer stuff as well. I stopped to talk to friends of mine and stuff like that, but still 30 minutes to get through the whole thing. I picked these two guys up. I saw them. I was like, $30. That looks fun. It's 1992. I know there's a Jordan in there. It's card number 15. If you flip it over, it's got the checklist on the back. I jumped on Card Ladder, and I was like, what are these sealed sets selling for? I saw one that sold for 15, and so I looked at the guy. I was like, look, man, what can you do for me if I buy both of these? I was like, I'm not buying them for 60. He said, how about 40? I said, deal. So I picked these two up for 20 each, $40 cash total. I'm sure he was happy. He probably had them at his table for the last 10 years. So I picked those two guys up, and I'm actually in 2 minutes, I'm about to flip you over and let you watch a video. In fact, why don't we do that now? I'm going to insert the video here. Let's open these two. But before we do, I want to show you the reason I bought them. I also kept digging, and so look what a PSA 10. This is the Jordan card, number 15, that you're going to pull out of one of these two boxes. That's what the card looks like in a PSA 10. It's a great card. It's a great image. There's only 20 PSA 10s. So the odds of me pulling a card out of this set that's been banging around in this box with a bunch of other cards with no protection. They're not cellophane wrapped. They're just loose inside the box. The box is cellophane wrapped on the outside, but the cards on the inside are not at all. So they're just corners and edges are just smashing into the sides of this box no matter where it goes. This is what the pop report looks like. 20 have been graded PSA 10 out of 471 with PSA, 4% gem rate. So I knew it was not likely, but you know what? The sun shines on a dog's ass on some days, so it was going to be fun. And plus, I knew you guys would enjoy watching me open these things on the channel. So that's what the PSA 10 story is. A PSA 8 of the regular card is about a $20, $25 card. So even if I get one that looks like an 8, I'm not grading the thing. It doesn't make any sense because it could be a 6, 7, 8. It doesn't matter. I'm going to lose money. So, the odds are, I would just go ahead and add, 2 Jordans and a penny sleeve and a top loader to these 5,000 over here that I got in the Raw cross country collection. But at least you guys would get some viewing pleasure out of looking at it. But then I noticed that there is a gold parallel. And here's the deal with the gold parallel. So I learned something just by buying these chintzy little complete set upper deck boxes. Here's the deal with the gold parallel, right? Let me just show you guys. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, here it is. So Beckett's a great place to learn about this. So this just tells you about the 40 card box set. It's 40 cards, upper deck. They were given away in Salt Lake City in the 92 All-Star game. And then, of course, they made billions of them. So then they made their way around the world. But the standard, at least one set in each case, rather than silver, it had gold foil highlights, okay? So one out of every case had gold foil highlights. So you could pull the Jordan Gold. Well, the Jordan Gold is no joke. A PSA 8 of the Jordan Gold is sold for $200 last year. A PSA 10 of the Jordan Gold, you're not going to find this probably. Let me just do this. I don't think we're going to find a PSA 10 of the Jordan Gold. Hell, there might not even be one. The PSA 8 sells for about $200. Let's just see, just out of curiosity, how many 10s are there? There's 3 10s. That's how rare the golds are. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So I found something that I didn't know existed, a gold foil parallel of this complete upper deck all-star set from 1992 in Salt Lake City. So there's 3 10s, 6 9s, an 8.5, and 22 8s. So maybe I would have graded the 8 just to have it. I think that would be pretty cool. So let's open these real quick, and then I'm going to come right back here because I got a lot more to tell you about the show. I got to meet a big watcher of the channel and a great Jordan collector, and it was great to meet him in person. I took a picture. I'm going to share it with you in just a second, and I'll keep telling the story. But first, let's open these two and see how they look. All right, let's have a little fun. These two were listed at $30 each. I think I looked it up on Card Ladder, and the last couple sold for like $15. These are the sealed 1992 Upper Deck All-Star Weekend collector sets. These are, there's no rhyme or reason. I mean, there's no, what ifs. It's just, the cards are listed. You got Jordan is card number 15. The Shaq in here is something. It's interesting. We'll look at the Card Ladder stats, when we go back to the main video. But I wanted to open these for you guys. I just saw them and I was like, well, that'll be fun. They were $30, which is double what I think they're worth. And I was like, well, I ain't doing that. But the guy was willing to give them to me for $40 for the pair, so $20 each. So, they were sealed, so not searched, obviously. But again, a Jordan PSA 8 is probably, you lose money. But a Jordan PSA 10 has some pretty serious value. Now, how am I going to get a 10 when these things are loose in this box? Well, the answer is I'm not. But I thought it would be fun to open these and share these with you guys on the channel. These were picked up. All the top left corners are crushed on these top ones. So the top ones are going to always be worthless. Jordan, luckily, is 15 deep. Unfortunately, Shaq is the second one, and he's, every single corner is awful. So we'll put it there anyway. Steve Smith made an all-star team. You got your Mutombo, Birdman. We got our Barkley. Yeah, these are horrible condition. But very nostalgic and fun to reminisce. My God, look at Karl Malone's arms. Good Lord. They listed the guy at like 240. There's no way that dude's 240 if he's 6'9". He's like 6'9", 340. All muscle. These are the flashbacks, of course. Let's get going here. Okay, what do we have? We got James Worthy. Good Lord, James Worthy was still making all-star games in 1992? What the hell? Kenny Anderson, Stacey Augman, Derek Coleman, LJ, Grandmama. Leitner made all-star teams. A lot of people don't know that. He never made an all-star team. Surely he was just in a dunk contest, right? It's got to be. I don't know. Who knows? All-star heroes, Moses Malone, Mullen, The Dream. Yeah, every corner has been banged up in this box, just kind of like bouncing around in these boxes. But it is what it is. There's an all-star hero, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, Barkley, Doherty, Drexler, Ewing. There's the MJ. And good Lord, the MJ is actually not terrible. It's not the worst. It's a PSA 8. But if I send it, it'd probably be PSA 4. It's not the worst. It's not the worst I've seen. We'll put the MJ up there. Again, I didn't buy this hoping to get rich. I just bought it because I think it would be fun to open for you guys on the channel. The Archibald, Baylor, some cool stuff in here. Walt Frazier, Gervin, Havlicek, and Elvin Hayes. Cool. So I don't think there's any, I don't think there's any random factor to these as far as I can recall. Let me look again to make sure. No, these are all, it's going to be the same thing in every one. So this one looks just as beat up. So what I'm going to do is we're going to flip to the Jordan back here. Where was the Jordan? It's way back here. Be careful. They're glossy, but they're not sticking, so that's good. And I bought them in, you know, New Orleans, Louisiana, so you would have thought. And there's the next Jordan. Yeah, it was just too much jostling, for lack of a better word, in these boxes to even hope that there would be anything in any reasonable condition. And I don't think anything, unless I'm nuts. I'm pretty sure. God, I'm gonna get back in there. I don't think anything in here is worth even looking at. I'll put those shacks in a little two-piece plastic. I won't even waste a penny sleeve and top loader because they're in terrible condition. That's it, guys. All right, enjoy the video. All right, snooze alert on that. We probably could have concluded I wasn't going to get any cards in great condition, and we knew there was not going to be anything grade-worthy in there, so nothing sexy came out of it, but now you've gotten to see what the 92 complete set Upper Deck All-Star Weekend cards look like. So let me keep telling my story. So after I sold all those cards in bulk, right, that I showed you on those loose leaf sheets of paper, I'm flush with 9,700, but I still have the Topps Chrome preview. I run into a viewer of the channel, the great Brett Weber. He's a great Jordan collector. He and I have messaged. I think he's mostly a Facebook guy, but he and I have messaged in the past, and we might even have done some deals. I don't remember, but it was really fun to get to see him in person down in New Orleans. He was down there, I was down there, and so we ran into each other. He grabbed me right away when he saw me, and he's like, I'm flush with cash. He's like, I'm looking to buy Jordans. I was like, well, you were in the wrong spot. I was like, I really feel bad, because then I told him, I was like, look, I just sold a hell of a lot of them over here in bulk, so maybe you can go buy from that guy. Or actually, you know what, Brett, I just remembered, I have one card left, and I bet you don't have it, and I bet you're going to be interested. And so that is a picture of me and Brett right here that we got to take at the card show, just kind of walking around. And again, here's a picture of the cards and the cash over here, like the sleazeballs do when they do the videos and they hold up the cash or whatever. So I showed Brett the Topps Chrome 1998 Topps Chrome preview, and I was like, man, I don't know what to do with it. I got it valued at $1,650, but here's the comps, and we looked in card ladder together, and it was like 1880, 1850, 1800, and then it went 1150. And I was like, man, Brett, I was like, I give it to you for 1200. He's like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it for 1200. So he handed me 12 crisp $100 bills. I handed him the Topps Chrome preview PSA 10, and we got that deal done. And then ironically, he's like, did you see anything else? He's like, I looked everywhere. He's like, there's nothing else here. I was like, Brett, I was like, did you not see the high voltage 9.5? And he's like, I walked this whole floor. He's like, I didn't see it. Somebody must have bought it. I was like, well, let me walk you over there and show you just in case you missed it. And of course, there's my Topps Chrome preview that Brett bought for me for $1,200. And so I walked him over to a table, and it was really random because the guy didn't have any other really high-end Jordan stuff or whatever. But I showed him. I was like, Brett, there it is. It's right there. And so I had to leave at that point to get back to Baton Rouge to grab JoJo, Jordan, my son Jordan, to take him to the soccer game. So I was like, Brett, there it is, man. Very nice to meet you. It's a pleasure to talk to you for about 15 minutes and spend some time. And I was like, I got to get out of here. Good luck on the high voltage. And so he sends me this picture on a Facebook Messenger, which I never check, so I'm bad at that. But I did happen to notice. And so he must have picked up the high voltage. So that's pretty good for Brett to dip into NOLA, the Big Easy, and pick up 2 gem mint Jordan cards that have some pretty serious meaning. So those are really cool pickups for him. And that pretty much tells the story of my New Orleans card show experience. So I sold, I don't know how many cards that is. We can add it up, maybe 75, 80 cards, something like that. 10s, 9s, and 8s. I got 80% value, which, again, I make about 88% on PWCC, depending on the sales price of the card. eBay's even much lower because you're going to get hit with a 13 to begin with, and then the shipping and the hassle and the listing and the bubble mailers and all the crap that goes with it. So eBay wasn't really an option to sell these individually. I just don't like to work that hard for my money. And so moving these at 80% is a deal for me. I give away a little bit of value, but at the same time, I get cashed out with very little trouble because I've got, another 200 sitting over here. I got another 150 coming in. So the sooner I can move these and cash flow these, the sooner I can push that money back into other Jordan cards. And so that was kind of the goal of my show, is to get down there, get cashed out, and then come home. So I came back with 9,700 from the sale to the repacker, and then 1,200 cash on the sale to Brett, and got to meet a nice Jordan collector. Got to help him find 2 nice Jordan Gem Mint cards while I was down there. Got to say hi to Nola Collects and a few of my friends down in New Orleans that collect down there. Got to see Chris Troncoso, a good friend of mine from way back in law school days. And I got to see Bruce, who used to have a card shop here in Baton Rouge right by my house and has since gone up to become a multi-billionaire, sports card dealer at Prime Time in Frederick, Maryland, I think is what it's called, somewhere up there. So good to reminisce and see some old friends. The show was hopping, man. The show was live. There was a lot of people there. It was great to see. People always are like, what was the vibe? What were people doing? I was like, I don't really know. I didn't stand around and watch people do deals. So, as usual, at most shows, especially the local smaller shows, a lot of the stuff was, overpriced. A lot of the tables had the same inventory that I've seen before, but I accomplished my goals and I did it in about, it didn't even take a full 90 minutes. We were in and out of there in about, 70 or 80 minutes. And I stayed on schedule and got to see my kids game and get them there on time. So the coaches didn't get mad at me. But that's my story of the New Orleans Card Show. Could I get to Dallas before the National? Possibly. I don't think I have any open weekends. I got, one daughter in college playing soccer, and I got to see her spring games on the weekends all of March. I know there's a Dallas card show. I don't think she's off that weekend, and I don't want to miss any of her games. She's only got so many. When you get to college, you only got so many games left in your career. So I don't think I'm going to miss any of those to go to the Dallas show, but there's a chance. So it's quite likely the next show I go to is probably going to be in Cleveland, which I'm already booked up, and I'm overbooked. So I'm arriving Tuesday. The show doesn't even start till Wednesday. I wanted to get up there on Tuesday and get settled, get acclimated, and maybe try to get to dinner with some of my friends that I never get to see, and really make the most of this National in Cleveland. And hit the show up every day. I am flying up there. I'm staying at a hotel. It's about 2 miles away. So Cleveland will quite likely be the next show that I go to. Maybe I can get to the Dallas show, but it's just not likely. So, hitting this New Orleans show was fun. Mission accomplished, and wish I could have found some more Jordans to buy, but they just weren't there. So, as always, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Not the sexiest, because I don't have any great tier 2 or tier 3 Jordans to show you that I picked up, but there were only a couple of them there to be picked up, but I already had a copy of them. So, thank you guys as always for watching. Keep collecting. Stay positive in the hobby. Peace.